So how do you nurture a prospect to become a customer? That's one of the questions that I get asked a lot as a sales mentor and trainer. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some thoughts on what I've learned in my career and what I know that works in order to turn those potentials into realities. Let's take a look at a video and some ideas on what you can take in order to get better sales results. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what is nurturing. So the gardeners that are watching this video will tell you straight away. But when I was studying actually in my A-levels, I was taught the idea of nature versus nurture. And the idea is something, this related to people that are brilliant, let's say a brilliant scientist, or someone like, goodness me, someone like Stephen Hawking, who recently passed away. What a brilliant scientist of mind. Was he born naturally with those talents, or was he nurtured? Did he get development and training and education to actually become what he became? And I'm not going to go and have the knowledge to go around the nature versus nurture theory, but what nurturing is really the ability to take someone from where they are now to a point where they're in a different place and nurture them to become better and different to what they are. And if you look at, for example, in the gardening stage, you have a plant, you will nurture a plant from a seed, you'll give it water, you'll give it light, you'll give it heat, and you'll see that plant grow over a period of time to suddenly becoming this lovely plant that you can see and that has grown to become something. And the same applies to your prospects. The reality around nurturing is when you've got a prospect that's basically a seed that doesn't know much about your service and what you do, the goal that you've got to do is you've got to give them enough insight, enough water, enough heat, enough light, and those are generally snippets of information, value, content, whatever it is, that can help grow your service and what you do in that prospect's mind. And so you're nurturing them, you're feeding them with information, with stories, with content that can help them grow. And in the reality for them, growing equals actually getting more knowledge about you and what you do, so that they're in a position to then say, I need to do this for myself. So that's what I certainly see as nurturing. And the reality is nurturing plays a big role, especially if you've got a sales process that can take maybe 3 to 4 months or maybe even longer. So for example, if someone's going to take a little decision, if you're going to buy a Mars bar, you're going to make a decision on that pretty quickly. But if you're going to invest maybe a few £1,000s in a training program or a few £1,000s in a new car, you're going to go through a journey from where you are here. You're going to want to build up knowledge and expertise and get to a point where you make that decision. And so the job of companies and businesses like us is to be able to nurture those prospects to become a customer. So one of the first things that you've got to be able to do when you're nurturing is to focus on the actual problem that the prospect has got. And so take my plant example. If I knew that the plant needed water and I starved it of water, then the reality is I'm going to see that the seed is not going to grow and it's going to wither away and die. And your prospect is the same thing. There are certain things that they need based upon the problems and challenges that they have. And so the question is, what is your water? What is your heat? What is your light that you can feed into the prospect that's going to make them relate to you and engage with you? And if you've got a service that offers them a saving or offers them a solution to a difficult problem, then that's going to be something that they're going to hopefully resonate with, especially if they can believe that you can actually do that. But the reality is those prospects are going to have a problem, and your job is to understand what that problem is and to then look at how you can solve that problem over a period of time through insights and value that you can give them. My message to you on this is clear. If your prospect is a seed that needs water, light and heat in order to grow, what is the water and light and heat that you can offer in your business in order to help your prospect grow? What are the things that you can provide them that's going to turn that prospect from that interested part into someone that's blossoming up into a great plant that then able to flourish and thrive? So one of the other key things that's really important about nurturing a prospect to become a customer is focusing on not just the sell, but about how you're there to help them. So again, if you think back to the plant analogy, whilst we actually pour water or give the plant light in order to be able to help it grow, our goal is not just focused on saying I'm going to give it so much water and light that actually it's going to flood the plant and kill it. The job really is to be in a position where you can give it enough of those elements in order to make it grow. And you do that by understanding what the prospect's issues are and then nurturing and following up on those individual points. So to give you an example, if a prospect's come to you and said, I've got an issue in my monthly cost for running my facility is too high, then what you can then do is say, look, okay, if that's the problem, maybe ask some questions around how big of a problem for them is it? and how much do they want to get this resolved, and have they set aside some resources to get this managed. And if you've identified that, and then you've got a solution to save them something in that area, be able to position what you do and see if it's a fit, but actually show them how it could actually solve their problem. Give them information, give them snippets of details, give them case studies, give them examples of how you've solved that for other people, and show them that it can actually solve the problem that they've got. So when you're nurturing, the key thing about nurturing is to know actually what it is you're nurturing and get to know a bit more about that prospect. So the best companies and the best salespeople will really get to know about the prospect they have, on what that prospect needs, their hobbies, their likes, their interests are, so that they can nurture them effectively. So again, take our plant example. Certain plants work in certain ways. Certain plants need more heat or more water than others. And would you actually go and try and plant something without looking at the instructions, understanding a bit more about the plant and finding out what it is they need in order to get the best result? No, you'd look, you'd research, you'd find out a bit more about it, and then you try and adjust your approach with the plant to get the right result. And your prospects are the same. You've got to get to know the prospect, read up about them, talk to them, engage with them, and find out more about who they are and what's of interest to them, so that you can then adjust your nurturing process in the right way. One of the other key things I talk about in terms of nurturing is to communicate regularly. What you want to do is leave your prospect thinking, I want more of that information. That's really useful. I'd like to hear more from that person, or I'd like to read a different article. And I look at things that I do now when I sign up to receive information from experts. I like to see what they send me. Do they try and sell to me straight away, or do they try and share lots of great value and content? And the ones that share value and that make me think, oh, I really can't wait to receive their next email, or I can't wait to see the next video, are the ones that I build an affinity with, and I feel like I'm being warmed and become closer to, so that I'd be in a position to buy from them. Your prospects are the same. You've got to be able to communicate regularly, but don't pester them, but give them enough of the content and information that makes them think, that's valuable, I like that. Nurture them through the process. Get them to a point where they may not know much about you now, but over a period of time, consistently over a period of, say, weeks or months, they can build up a relationship with you, an understanding of what you can do and what you can offer. And that can really build an affinity in your mind, in the prospect's mind, about you and what you do. And if you communicate with purpose and outline clearly what it is you want to happen, you're going to get a chance at better results. Go back to our plant analogy. I know that if I water the plant on a regular basis and give it the things that it needs, it should grow. And your prospects are the same. Communicate, make sure you engage with them. And if you do that, they're going to grow, they're going to warm to you, and it's going to help you then move them forward in your sales process, ready to become a customer. So the other key thing you've got to do around nurturing, and it's the key thing I talk about in my convert model, is create great content and share information and stories of value to them. The reality is we live in a world nowadays where content is king, and your prospects need that content and information and stories and value and education that you can provide them in order to make a conscious buying decision to work with you. If you haven't got that content, I'm going to be honest with you, you're going to struggle, because the whole approach is just to sell them rather than to educate and nurture and help them grow and get to the position that they want to be in. We all know it ourselves. We'd rather come to a natural conclusion about something than to be forced into doing something. And we get to that natural conclusion by reading, by learning, by understanding more about a service or a product or what it offers. And if we can find that from reading interesting articles, watching interesting videos, seeing graphics, listening to podcasts, whatever those elements of content are, if we can use those, it's going to build a relationship with that company, which is key if you want to convert those prospects into customers. So when you're nurturing a prospect to become a customer, one of the other key things that you've got to do on a regular basis is check the actual prospect is still where you expect them to be. So go back to my plant analogy. If I've seen over a period of time that the plant should grow from this size to that size, what I'm going to do maybe is validate, maybe midway through the point that the plant is at that point. And if it's not, I might need to add some more water, I might need to add some more heat, I might need to do something different. Your goal when you try and nurture a prospect is to do exactly that. You've got to validate that the key priorities and problems that they have are still the same now as they were when you first started working with them a couple of months ago. And you do that through an engagement, through a phone call, through an email, reaching out to them saying, hi, just want to make sure that you've still got a plan to look at deploying this over the course of the next few months and see if I can help you with some further information around what it is we offer and do and how we're a good fit for you. Or it may well be, I just wanted to check that this is still something that you're interested in looking at, and is there any further information or stories that I can share with you that could prove of value to you. Being able to validate your prospect and where they are in the process is key, because as we've talked about before in other videos, not all your sales will come at once. You have to have enough prospects in your pipeline and then nurture each one of them through the process. Each of your plants will grow at different times. And if you plant seeds on a regular daily basis, some will grow quicker than others, but the key thing is they will all grow if you give them the right water, nurturing, support, help as you need. If you don't nurture, if you don't give them what they need, however, the chances are they're going to stay a small seed and not grow into the plant that you want. So your goal is to focus on how you can provide the right value, the right content to those prospects, and then make sure that you're measuring to see that you're getting the success that you want and that they still want to go where you want them to go, which is to hopefully become a customer. If they don't, let's have an honest conversation now so that you don't continue to water or follow up with a prospect that's no longer interested in working with you. One of the other key things I say to people about nurturing is actually being in a position where you can share stories, inspirational stories, success stories of how other people have done what they have wanted to do or may want to do. And give them those stories and give them those case studies and examples and try and inspire them to see what they can become. Okay, we all know plants can't talk, but if I was a small plant, I'd want to look up to him and think, why can't I be like him with strong leaves and be really looking great and grand? And your prospects are the same. They want to be able to look and see how they can get to that same point. How can they see the results that others have? They want to be taken on that journey. They want to be nurtured and be able to be inspired to be able to move from where they are now to where they want to be. And they need some help in getting to that point for sure. But if you can provide them the information, the support, the help, and the understanding and knowledge, then they can see and picture themselves in that position. I can assure you, you'll get them to become customers. The reality is, in the modern business era, nurturing is more important than ever. And what I would say to you is, if you're not doing nurturing and if you're not nurturing your prospects either through lead management or through effective engagement, then you're missing out on an opportunity. The reality is your prospects have a choice and you have a choice. If they stay here today and are potentially interested in what you do, you can either try and speak to them in a month's time and hope they've moved forward, or you can gradually, through small bits of value and useful information that focuses on that prospect's issues, you can move them through that path and help them get to a place where they know more about you and what you do. Nurturing is the great and easy way to do that. And if you do it in the right way, by the time you actually engage in sales conversations with your prospect, they've already seen what you do. They've already been inspired by your stories. They've already seen what they can do and how you can help them. And it's going to put them in a far better position to want to actually buy from you. I hope that video was useful and gave you an overview of what I see prospect nurturing as being. If you're not doing nurturing and think, I need to do more of that, my sales process isn't that simple, and I need to learn how I can nurture my prospects over a period of time to become a customer, talk to me. I've got people that I know that can help you put in place the lead nurturing programs and systems that you need to ensure that you take those prospects on that journey, and just like that plant, take that plant from a seed into a really great plant, we can help turn those prospects into customers over a period of time that can put more money back in your pocket. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. I've loved sharing thoughts with you around prospect nurturing in this video. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. I'd love to be able to send you my latest videos on a regular basis and share with you more of the value that I can give you and your organisation. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know. Please reach out to me at James White Sales on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or drop me an email at hello@jameswhite.business. I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to help you achieve your sales goals.